How was the crowd there live in Texas? Were they excited to see Mike? Were they excited to see Jake Paul, perhaps? A lot of people are saying, "Oh, this fight only garnered the attention it did because of Tyson." Some people are saying it was because of Paul. What were your thoughts being there in that arena?
Yeah, no, first of all, uh, I don't agree with that. I think, they both bring the star power Geo, and, even if you're a star, you need a dancing partner to really garner the attention of, we'll talk about the numbers, the numbers that they brought. But yeah, being in that stadium, it was packed. People were rowdy, people were loud, people were excited. It's the baddest man on the planet, and it's probably the most known man in social media, arguably. So yeah, I said this time and time again. This is one of those events where, for the first time in a long time, every generation was watching this fight on the same TV. We get split along the lines. Everybody would stream what they want on their phone. The parents watch, what they want on their set. This is the first time I feel in a while that everybody was tuning in. The whole family, the tío, the tías, the primos, everybody, from all walks of life. So yeah, that was felt throughout that stadium. Gio, people were hyped over Mike Tyson. Anytime an image of him, of his highlights, of what he's been doing the last couple of years, people would get a roar. I haven't heard a loud of a pop. When they first saw him coming into the stadium, the behind the scenes, people were just loud. It's almost like the respect for this legend was palpable. So again, it was a great atmosphere. I know the fight felt a little flat, and I know a lot of people back at home were expecting more. So was I, but at least for the experience of being in that building, Gio, it was amazing.
All right, and let's go into this article that I pulled up right here. $18.1 million gate, the biggest gate outside of Vegas. So let's get into those numbers. Obviously, we knew a lot of people were going to be there. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. They were saying 72,300 fans attended this fight. 18,117,072 to be specific is the number that they are reporting. They're saying it's the ninth highest combat sports gate ever in U.S. history. Oh, look at that. They're saying even the Netflix stock rose 2.8%. We'll get into that. But the previous record was the Texas record was Canelo Billy Joe Saunders 9 million. We knew a lot of people attended that fight, but this one blew it out the water. I want to start by saying this. I don't think this is bad for boxing. I don't think this is bad for boxing because we talked about the undercard, a lot of eyes, I'm sure, on those boxers as well. Hopefully they're following Guru a little bit, but you know, they're reporting 16 million people streamed this fight, biggest or largest audience for a live sporting event when it comes to streaming, you know, and number one is boxing, Chris. So that's good. That's always a good thing. All eyes on boxing this weekend. Anytime that happens, I'm never mad at it. I don't care who it is. You know, I don't care if it's a YouTube guy like Jake Paul. As long as boxing is garnering that attention, that many eyes, I'm not mad at it. Guys on the undercard got to shine, got a little bit more exposure. Um, So I'm not mad at it for that reason. Obviously, a lot of people are mad at how the fight happened. Um, but I think we kind of knew all along that it was basically an exhibition. Jake Paul got 40 milli supposedly, and Mike Tyson got 20 plus a quarter of a million for showing them cheeks. Chris, no Diddy, but hey, they got paid, so I'm not gonna hate on that.
Yeah, to me, you cannot hate on a well promoted, event like this one. And again, I agree. I know a lot of people felt, that the main event fell flat. I get that. I understand that. Who doesn't want to see action? I want to see action. everybody that tunes in wants to see action. Understandable, but just the fact that it garnered so much attention, it got so many views. It was 65 million plus people watching and tuning in. Again, this is a 50-year-old, 58-year-old guy against a 27-year-old. Again, it's their names just have so much. They garner so much weight, and again, you said it, Gio. They were able to put some good names on the undercard, get them exposure. That's only to the benefit of the sport. So again, you got to respect those numbers, man. The numbers are numbers, and you probably won't get anybody that are true boxers get these type of numbers. And I know that a lot of people are going to hate me for saying that, but it's the truth. Again, in this sport, to garner any kind of attention, you have to be entertaining. You gotta have the story. You gotta, invoke people's psyches, and that's what Jake Paul does. That's what Mike Tyson once upon did, and still continues to do it to this day. So again, it's a shout out to just their branding. So yeah, man. Again, boxers from all over the world can learn from this and build themselves.
100%. And look, if there are still any boxers out there hating, man, stop being so boring, man. Find a way to get paid. Do something. If unless you're knocking everybody out in the ring, you better be entertaining off the ring. Because only a few guys have been able to do that. Guys like Triple G who didn't even speak English. But when they stepped onto that ring, they were knocking everybody out. Stop being boring. Don't hate on Jake Paul, man, just because he's making millions and millions of dollars and he just started boxing. But hey, he was able to get people to buy into it, entertain people. So I'm never gonna hate on that. But I am gonna hate on the boring boxer, which is like 99% of you guys. So get your weight up, man. Stop being so goddamn boring. Stop hating on Jake Paul. When it comes to the fight itself, uh, I didn't really care too much about it. I think after a couple rounds, we knew that Mike Tyson looked his age. He moved like his age. He moved like a 58-year-old man. A lot of people saying it was scripted, that he was supposed to hold back and not hurt Jake Paul or whatever. But we both picked Jake Paul to win by decision because we kind of knew, man, that he's fighting a 58-year-old man. And he's probably not gonna knock him out because that's just gonna look weird. Him knocking out an old man. So I feel like they both kind of held back. We kind of knew it was gonna go the distance. It was entertaining for a couple rounds, and then after that, you're like, oh man, just that's enough. I'm just glad it was 2-minute rounds and no one got hurt and they got their bags. And look, you can't hate on it. 72,000 people there in attendance. Chris was one of them. 60 million people streamed the fight. I was one of them. So can't hate on it, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Gio, do you think Mike Tyson held a little bit, or do you think it was just more his age? And again, we don't know what 58 feels like, but even us in our 30s, we don't feel the same that we did when we were like our 18, 19, in our 20s. Do you feel like it was mostly his age, or do you think there's a little bit of him that held back?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think everybody was kind of knew that, or most people kind of knew that his best chance was going to be in the first couple rounds. Seemed like he could have landed something big, but never really pulled the trigger. And I think toward the second half of the fight, I just think he was gassed out. And he actually wrote a statement. I don't want to misquote him, so I'm going to look it up. Um, I'm going to look it up. So buy me like 30 seconds. I want to pull up what Mike Tyson wrote after the fight, basically him going through his health issues and being able to go 8 rounds against a guy half his age. He sees that as an accomplishment. But yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I think he held back a little bit, but I think he had a lot of limitations physically.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, a lot of people think, 3, 4 rounds he can do it. But if you unleash those bombs, if you take those risks, you probably won't make it a distance, on stamina and on age alone. So I agree. I think it's a little bit of both. I know there's this narrative that it was completely, scripted. I I believe, we know boxing, even true boxing matches, there's little stipulations here and there. I think there's too much money involved for there not to be, a few of those things behind the scenes. But for the most part, I think it was a lot of, having to do with his age. He didn't want to take too many risks. I think Jake Paul also held a little bit back. I think he respects him too much, where he didn't want to, use 100% of his, abilities. So I think there was a combination of both. But I agree that, on this night, Mike Tyson felt his age, and you know, we would have been, we would have seen more of those bombs unleashed if he fought somebody his age or around his age. But yeah, man, 58 is 58, man. Again, we're not near there. We're already kind of slowed down just a little bit.
All right, so here is the statement by Mike Tyson after the fight. He wrote, "This is one of those situations wherein you lost but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in ring one last time. I almost died in June. I had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my blood and 25 pounds in the hospital and had to fight to get healthy to fight. So I won." Let's see if I can pull up the rest of this. To my Let me see. To have my children see me stand toe to toe and finish 8 rounds with a talented fighter half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboys stadium is an experience that no man has a right to ask for. Thank you, says Mike Tyson.
No, I completely agree with that statement, Joe. I think he should be very proud of himself. Again, at 58 years old, like, who does that, man? That's only a beast, at that age decides to train and get ready for something like this against, like, somebody half your age. So no, I commend him. I think that's what makes him one of the baddest men on the planet, even to this day, just to do that at 58. I think throughout that fight, we saw glimpses in the first round, especially of his ferociousness, and I think, like you said, he gassed out early on, and maybe there was those moments like, do I take a risk here? Do I try to knock him out and end up getting knocked out? He probably was thinking about his health. He was probably going like, yeah, no, I want to be able to spend this money and enjoy it. We know boxing already is a dangerous sport, so at 58 even more. So I think they both knew, let's take a little bit off. We're gonna get paid anyways. Let's enjoy this money.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have much, a lot of to add on this. I must add, our stream kept buffering, and we thought it was just like the TV or the internet. But once we went on the line, a lot of people were complaining about that too. Um, another thing I wanted to touch on, kind of on that topic, is when when they first announced that Netflix was going to stream this fight, I'm like, oh, this has got to be like their pilot, their trial. I'm sure they're getting into live sports, and yeah, it seems like they're gonna be doing the Christmas football game. Let me pull this up for you. So yeah, Netflix is getting into live sports. They'll have to fix, their servers or whatever they gotta fix. Um, Not sure that they'll be getting 60 million streams for, some of their future events that they'll be streaming. Obviously, this was a mega event. The stream was crashing. We'll see if they can fix those issues by the time they stream their next live sporting event.
Yeah, no, I heard a little bit about that. I heard there was a few. So there was quite a few, Jim.
I'm sorry.
Did it happen like during the fight, or was it before the fight when?
It was happening. It was happening throughout the whole event. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that to their defense, they were like, man, that's how many people are watching. But And Netflix needs to get ready because yeah, that's a low key bad look. But yeah, I also saw that this event brought their stock up 2.8%, man. For something to move their stock up, even just a percentage, it's got to be substantial. So again, it's again, this is where you have to have like big names when it comes to making events. You need to have a dance partner. You got to be a dance partner yourself. So again, shout out to these people for bringing in these huge numbers.
Yeah, and I missed out. I don't have any Netflix stock, but maybe later on we'll see what else they can stream. But I'm not mad at it. Look, as I said, Netflix already has a ton of subscribers. I'm gonna go ahead and look up the exact numbers. So I'm sure it was a lot of uh casuals, as you like to call them, Chris. But we need those people to watch the fights. Those are the people that end up buying the pay-per-views, and end up getting this crazy number, 60 million. So uh yeah, I'm not mad. At first, I thought it was a little weird that it was on Netflix, but I think now hindsight, it makes total sense.
So I gotta ask you, what happens next? Do you want to see Mike Tyson again? He did allude that when they asked him if he wanted to keep going, I expected him to say like, no, that's it, I'm done. This is something I wanted to get out of the way, and I'm good. I'm good to retire. But he left that door open. And also, where does Jake Paul go from here?
Yeah, it looked like Mike wanted to do it again. He didn't say no when they asked him, so we might see him again. We know he's not fighting. Holyfield is not interested in that. Maybe Tyson didn't feel all the way healthy in this one, and maybe he thinks he can do another fight and feel more healthy. Who knows? But yeah, I think 20 million plus sponsorship deals and everything. He was wearing Venom gloves. He got money to show ass. You know, I don't know what else, he got money for, but um yeah, I think he looked good physically.
Yeah.
He didn't really fight like it, but he looked good physically. I'm sure we might see him again. And as far as Jake Paul, everybody's calling him out. I saw even Arthur Beterbiev said, "Come fight a real fighter." We know he's not gonna fight Beterbiev. But guys like Tarver, Antonio Tarver, was saying, "Hey, if he can beat me, he's legit." Like everyone's calling him out. Uh, who for sure, uh, I don't think will even acknowledge him is this guy right here, Canelo. Canelo's not into that clown stuff, so he ain't getting that payday. He got 40 milli to fight Mike Tyson, but yeah, I'm not sure he gets a bigger bag than that. Um, I think he might try to fight another maybe old guy, Chris. A guy like Tarver wouldn't be bad for me.